People, deluded. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 2, Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It is what it is. We might as well review the player ratings in short. Now, as an Arsenal fan, I feel we started the game very poorly by our own standards, and I feel Chelsea, if I was to look at it from a Chelsea point of view, they should have taken 3 points prior to them even getting the penalty. Callum had a good chance, but the 3 specific ones I remember, Christensen had a good chance from a headed effort. Tammy Abraham had a good effort, he should have potentially scored. Kovacic, after some good play from Chelsea, fired it into Mustafi's groin area. So they're similar to a lot of Chelsea games, and especially at home, they're not killing games when they have the chance. But if you offered me a point before the game, regardless of what's said, I would have taken it. I actually feel there was a decent reaction being 10 men down. I actually feel we looked more of a threat to Chelsea being 10 men down, and only Arsenal fans would find our team doing that, eh? But in relation to the keeper, I'm going to give Leno an 8, you know. I feel when Leno was called upon, he made some very big saves for us, especially ones that were like close shot-stopper ones. And I don't feel Leno's perfect, but he's earned his wages and stuff today, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I feel Leno was one of the only players, really, that looked on this thing from start to finish when called upon. Bellerin, I give it 8. Like you lot, I felt while Bellerin is an actual fullback and Arteta, he's allowed to do what he wants with this side. Maitland now is a player that was once criticised a lot, has earned the right back spot, so you would have felt he felt a bit hard done by. Obviously, with Bellerin not featuring in recent weeks, you're wondering in terms of injuries, in terms of mobility, in terms of ring rust and whatnot. If we didn't win, we didn't win. If we didn't have the best of games, which we didn't, but you get the point. If the game went a bit different, there would have been more question marks at Bellerin and potentially at Arteta. You know, the first comment would have been, why did he start him? It was idiotic. In the same way, Arteta don't really have a leg to stand on from a fan's point of view for starting Mustafi, because like a wise man, DG once said, whenever it means something, Mustafi will always let you down, like shown at Liverpool away and like shown today. And it's also concerning because, again, I don't feel Rob Holding's amazing, but I feel he's a competent centre-half. But I am concerned where, if it's not an injury or a knock or whatever, but if Arteta genuinely sees genuinely sees him as a better option, as Mustafi is a better option than him, then that means it's peak times for Holding. It's quite concerning. And you saw him, Joe, Maitland, Arteta was playing Russian roulette with them substitutions. But Bellerin gets an 8. I feel he had a good performance today, even without his goal. He's still not all the way there like you saw. There was a couple of times in the second half Emerson got the beating of him because Pepe weren't really backing it. But I give him an 8. I give Xhaka a 7. I feel Xhaka had a better game when he went to centre-half. I feel he showed a lot of commitment, composure, main word, discipline. He showed Mustafi how to play in that position, so I give him a 7. Listen, Luis has to get a 4 because of the red card. I felt his hands were tight. I don't feel Luis made the best of the situation, and I think if you watch the goal again, you would say the same as well. But by the same logic, he had no choice. Obviously, he prevented the inevitable because, you know, you could have tried to block. They scored. It's still 1-0 that whether you stayed on or off, so it's the same result. Why do that? 11 men with a player with a pass like you, same way Martinelli countered attack. Could you have played a ball over the top for someone? That's devil's advocate. But I felt Luis's hands were tied via Mustafi's idiotic pass back or attempted pass back. But either way, Luis has to hold a 4. Mustafi, I'm torn between a 3 and a 4 because I'll start with the good before I criticise him. Yeah, I actually feel after he made that mistake and in the second half, he made a couple interceptions and blocks and headers and things that were vital. Obviously, the damage at this point is already done by Mustafi, but I feel he reacted well if he could react well. The problem is, like I just said, when the game means anything, Mustafi will always let you down. Like I feel he need, from a human point of view, don't get me wrong, I criticise him purely as a professional footballer. As a man, as a human being, I have great sympathy for him because he doesn't look like he's playing with the clarity in his mind. He looks shit scared that he's going to make a mistake, and that's not healthy for anyone because he's error prone anyways. If you're thinking like that, you're going to be error prone, and it's just not healthy because at the base level, football's a job. As much as I don't think he has the credentials for this club, he deserves to, like all of us, to go into work happy, to go into work with the faith that you can do the job without feeling incompetent. But either way, I'm torn between the 3 and the 4, so I'm going to go with a 3, people, because he's an experienced individual and he shouldn't be making mistakes like that. we're at the point where we're at with Mustafi now. So I'm not going to waste any more breath. So I'm going to give him a 3. I'm going to give Ozil a 4. Didn't really see him today. Going to give Torreira a 6. Philly did his thing. Torn between a 5 and a 6 for Pepe, people. I'm going to give a 6. I feel he was okay today. Decision making needs to improve. I actually feel he shouldn't have come off, to be fair with you. Not that he was amazing, but I give him a 6. Lacazette a 5. Like I said at the beginning, a lot of people, myself included, are very critical of Lacazette and how he's got ability and whatnot, and he's a good player, and I feel together with someone like Aubameyang he could have a lot to say in our season. But by the same logic, last scored away from home in February 2019, not prolific by any stretch of the imaginations in terms of goal scoring since he's been here, but this season he's been woeful by his own standards. And he's not been Lacazette, because sometimes he hasn't scored or assist, but he's impacted by how he's playing. He's not been the man that won player of the season last year. But I feel today I can cut him some slack, card. The team weren't really in it, really. His passing at times was a bit off, but I feel he worked hard. I think he worked very hard defensively, to be honest with you. And a game like this, you kind of have to do that. So I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. I give Xhaka a 5. I feel Xhaka didn't have his best of... He weren't poor, but he's played better. I feel his decision-making by his own standards weren't the best. I feel he would have learned a lot playing against Callum Hudson-Odoi. He had a tough game out there against Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think he was equal to the task. I feel Callum didn't embarrass him. I feel Xhaka didn't get embarrassed and he held it up. But I just believe a 5. I give Martinelli a 9. Obviously, he scored and the work rate was there, so he needs that. Matteo Guendouzi weren't on the field long enough, and I don't really like to review subs and whatnot when they come on, but I'm going to give Guendouzi a 7 based on what I saw, because I was looking at him, I was thinking, I need a disciplined performance from you, my guy, because I love you. You lot know me, I always back him, but is he the most disciplined, especially being 10 men down? And I liked what I saw from Guendouzi when he came on. He had the good energy. Obviously, Rob Holding came on. I'm potentially sure I'm forgetting someone else out, people, but it's not anything at this moment. Apologies. So yeah, man, we get away with a point. We can sleep. I mean, it's not a loss, people. So it is what it is in regards to this season as an Arsenal fan. But I'm not gonna bore you lot with any more chit chat that I don't need to. So on that note, as usual, it's appreciative that you mess with my content each and every time. But I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. DG, I'm out.